This is About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills, author, speaker, and entrepreneur. Sit back and enjoy.
Greetings, fam. Check out the entertainment and leisure industry. I think there's a lot of opportunities there, especially in light of so many regular jobs being automated. Now, the recreation and leisure industry, that includes recreation, entertainment, sports, and tourism. See, the one common thread that unites all of those, it's not so much about a machine building something or even something like self-checkout. The common thing is it's something that people participate in. You know, it's part of that, what people term the experience economy. It's about that experience. Like I was talking about the entertainment venues in malls. You know, people go there to experience it. You know, they go to a place like Dave and Buster's to experience that level of entertainment. Now, I believe that there's a great opportunity there because what's going to happen? I see two things happening. One, you have increasing automation. Two, as much as I'm not a fan of the concept, we might see some level of universal basic income. It is what it is. Now, if people don't have jobs, you know, or they don't have a job to go to, but they still have a little bit of money, they still are going to find their way. They still want to do stuff during the day. They still going to want to have some type of recreation. They still want to be entertained. You know, part of that entertainment and sports industry is sports. I mean, we see it at, the macro level when we look at these sports leagues and everything affiliated with that. And really just the sports industry by itself, there's always going to be opportunity there because of the whole experience thing, because people are going to play it. They're not just going to watch it, but you're going to get some 40-year-old guys, or in my case, a 50-year-old guy. I need to find a football league. Yeah, in my case, a 50-year-old guy go out there and play some ball. You're going to see that, right? Or, play basketball. So that's something that people are doing. That's not something that they can relegate to a robot. So they're going to get into that. In tourism, that's just traveling. I mean, especially if you look at some smaller countries, like, for example, in the Caribbean, their main industry is tourism. You know, you can't send a robot like you sitting at home like, oh, okay, I'm going to send a robot to experience it. I'm going to experience it directly. So as long as you have jobs, as long as you have people wanting to experience something, there will always be opportunity if you can provide it. And I mean, it's so many things. I mean, yeah, I've talked about the, places in the mall, but who's to say people might not want to see plays some more? That's entertainment. You know, all of a sudden it's like people, especially if they got a lot of free time. You know, especially if they have a lot more free time. You know, people could say, hey, you know what? Why don't we put on something? You know, why don't we go to this art thing? I mean, there's a lot. There's a arts festival coming up in my little town in a few, 3 or 4 weeks, right? And, who said that's an experience itself? Festivals, events, you could be an event planner, because like one of the things I need to do, and I need to call this young lady up about this, is form some type of, do some type of relationship type expo. But something like that's an experience when people go to these things. So they need, even when they go to like these expos, you might have some music playing, vendors. People experience. Sometimes people, food vendors. Sometimes people just go just for the ambiance. They might not want to buy anything. They just want to be around people. See, that's the one thing. People still need to be around people. They still need to travel. They still need to entertain themselves. And you can't, the thing is, you can't have a surrogate for it. See, one thing about the automation, it is really focused on a lot of mundane tasks. It's focused on a lot of mundane tasks, which really, it frees up people. See, the real issue is not that it does that. I think a lot of people would rather not be doing some things, but they still need to make a living. See, that's the whole issue. Now, even though I mentioned universal basic income, it still isn't in existence. That's why my thing is, all right, I think we just need like some new industries and stuff, or to get into some industries. We can't wait on that. Right now, I'm like, okay, what can we do now? So, you look at the whole entertainment thing. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. I mean, even YouTube, really, for many people, it's entertainment. People doing it, or just anything on social media. Because that's one thing I peeped. That's one of the reasons I jumped on social media. I was like, damn. With the exception of myself, everybody's head isn't buried in a smartphone. And you got to have content for them to look at. I mean, even with that, you got the mobile game companies who are rising. It's like, that's something that might have been unheard of as recently as 10 years ago. Now it's like so many people have smartphones and everything. They looking in there to be entertained. So that even comes in there, and they still need to move. They still need to go out. They still need to party. Entertainment. Somebody could say, like myself. I was thinking the other day. I was like, damn, you know what? I don't really like a club, but I would go to a party. And I'm actually thinking about that field personally. That's one of the things. Y'all notice with me, I think about 1,001 things. I got 1,001 ideas and stuff. It's just a matter, can I make it happen right then? Because I'm one of those people. I'm kind of more like a serial entrepreneur. I can get bored with something easily. It was like once I did it, I was like, okay, let me move on to the next thing, or at least expand upon what I'm doing now. I have to keep going. I can't rest on my laurels. But this entertainment and leisure industry for y'all entrepreneurial people, like for some of y'all who know y'all can put together a good party, shoot, it's there. Or y'all know you good at sports. Like I remember my sons, they were part of this little franchise type of thing where they were teaching kids sports and have them play and everything. That was incredible. It was like, wow, that's a great idea. And that's actually an idea I had a while ago. Trying to start a little sports singles club. I didn't really stick with it though. I ain't stick with it. But if I had stuck with it, it might have been big. But there was a lot of little stuff with it that I didn't feel like being bothered with at the time. But somebody listening to it, they can get into it. Because the key word in all of this is experience. People still got to experience stuff. And that's irrelevant as to whether they're working or not, whatever they're doing. Even if we had 100% employment, we weren't talking automation, there was literally a job for everyone. They still going to want to have recreation. They still want to be entertained. Many people still going to play some type of sports, even if it's just some social thing. I remember there was a business in the D.C. area. It was like a kickball league. I was like, oh, wow. People join, and I'm like, wow, that's a great idea. And it's a co-ed kickball league, and it was very social, And people want to travel. Tourism, people just don't. Most people don't want to stay in the same area. The tourism is big, like I said, especially in some place like the Caribbean. And on my other channel, I've done a couple videos on sex tourism. But people, they want to travel. You want to make money. It's something that they want to experience. And I don't think that's not going to change. That's the beauty of it. People will always want to be entertained. They're always going to pursue leisure. And you know what? In my next video on here, I'm gonna go into that, because I think we all hear about what's coming. I've talked about automation, and there's more and more of a discussion of universal basic income. There's a lot of unemployment, but we really need to look at it from another angle. Like, okay, all of that's happening, so what's not going to, what people are still going to want no matter what. Because here's the thing about automation. Something could happen and whatever it could be some automated product or something or built by robots that people all of a sudden say they don't want anymore. That's how the market works. Like my son's got like my oldest son had this like I don't want to put the name out there because I think this particular company or particular brand is in trouble. And you know when they're in trouble, they try to go after people and stuff. But I noticed that my son doesn't want to play with it anymore. And then when I've seen this particular brand in stores, it's not moving anymore. So that's no matter what, you know, these businesses and everything products, they can go out like as soon as people decide they don't want it anymore, it can go out. But people will always want to have that experience. All right. So anyway, something to think about. Let's go out there and make that money.